is start now with the last of the 3 podcasts. So, in this series, we are going to discuss some really deep core embodiments which are needed in order to accomplish or be the driving force to the new spherical civilization that we spoke of already in many ways. In the first 5 chapters up until now. So here we talk about what's called the embodiments. Now what's an embodiment? We're going to discuss this more because this is a little more deep subject. These last 3 are the core values, and it'll all come together towards the last. So just be patient. Okay, so what an embodiment is and is not. The reason why I have made this particular slide common to the next 3 podcasts is very, very important to understand this and revisit it over and over again. Let's go through it one by one, please. Embodiment does not require external proof, external manifestation, or endorsement from anyone. Embodiment means to put it in your body, in your being. You are a walking, talking set of principles. You walk the talk, so to speak, and you talk the walk, both ways, right? So it does not require external proof. You're not looking for external validation or external manifestation or endorsement from anyone. It's not external to you. Embodiment is you with you, yeah? Embodiment, second point, is not an agreement or a contract or a law or a rule or a policy. Because we are used to all these old energy constructs. Agreements, contracts, law, rule, policy. Everything has to have these kinds of names associated with it in order for it to be, well, quote unquote, recognized or known, etc., etc. This is none of those things. It's about you with you. Embodiment is not a requirement, nor needs an idea or a concept. Lots of these things these days are presented as ideas or concepts, but they are not real. They're not rooted in reality. They are not there as an eternal truth. They are there just as ideas or concepts. See? An embodiment is not a requirement, nor needs an idea or a concept. It's just true by itself. And we'll see how. Embodiment is not one-dimensional. That is, it's not just a thought or a feeling or an emotion or a state of being, but all of them and more. So it's not just one thing. It can be all of these things or one or more things at the same time. Keep all these core concepts in mind. You will need to revisit this again and again in order to fully, be an embodiment of embodiment, so to speak. Embodiment is not a collective structural agreement or an institution, but an individual, an internal alignment with the true self, with all that we have spoken so far about the self, about the being, about the human being, right? So we need to understand the embodiment is not a collective structural agreement. What do I mean by collective structural agreement? Or an institution. See, all institutions that humanity has at the moment, like governance, laws, corporations, business laws, trade laws, the military, all these are institutionalized structures, right? And they require structural agreement. Everybody who has to join the institution or a university even has to have an agreement, right? This has nothing to do with that. It's not a collective, it's individual. And it's internal alignment with your true self. That's embodiment. Next point. Embodiment brings alignment with being at every level. Micro and macro. The first 5 chapters, you got to link this with the first 5 chapters. We're not going to go through this again because they are pretty long, first 5 chapters. Embodiment harmonizes all within and without. As in, what is the internal being and the external being, the micro and the macro. It harmonizes everything. That's what's the core. That's the core of this entire series, of this entire talk. Like harmonizes inside and outside. Then only we can be in harmony with everything else. every other human being, flora, fauna, earth, whatever we spoke of. Embodiment creates natural states, pristine states of being, internal and external. So it's your natural state to be in a well embodied form, in a truthful embodied form. This is natural. This isn't the good news. It doesn't require much effort. You know that this is the natural way of being. Embodiment is an inside to outside approach, individual self to the collective. So this ties in with everything that everybody knows always, and it's told in many circles as well. But it's always you. It always begins with you. Whatever is inside you, you reflect to outside. So this is in alignment with that, right? Embodiment relates to mastery of self, bringing mastery to the collective. Your individual mastery has to be brought to the collective. That's what embodiment means. Okay. Now let's see the first embodiment. There's just 3 slides in each one of these. So the first embodiment is sovereignty. Now sovereign, if you see in the dictionary meaning, it means self-rule, the highest rule. One who is ruled individually. It comes from the concept of monarchy, royalty, sovereign. Means you are an individual who has rights all on his own. You don't have to rely on any other forms of governance. You don't need to be governed. The first embodiment is sovereignty. Sovereignty of whom? Sovereignty of the individual. Remember the 5 circles? So these are the 5 circles. The central big circle is the being. The 4 outer circles are the action. So we speak with respect to that now. We come down, right down to the individual now. Yes? So sovereignty, first one. Sovereignty is a claim and proclaim of self over all else external. This is a huge claim. I come before any and all. I come before my parents, I come before my society, I come before my educational system, the law, the legal, the this, the that, the institutions, the faith, the religion. The I is the claim and proclaim. Self over everything external. I am supreme. I am the one who comes above everything. That's being sovereign. This is the first claim. Claim and proclaim. What do I mean by that? Claim is you claim inside, proclaim is you tell outside as well. Of self over else external. This is the individual freedom that is embodied in many democracies and constitutions. Yeah, freedom. But freedom is claimed in another form. This is being sovereign. This is being freedom without anybody ever compromising it, ever taking it away. This has to be recognized in the new civilization. This is not negotiable. This cannot be terminated in certain ways and conditions. This is absolute. Sovereignty is absolute freedom. Sovereignty is the self-rule, self-mastery, self-action, embodiment of all of that. So it's all about self, as you can see here. You rule yourself, you guide yourself, you work with yourself. You are indulged in mastery of your own self. Your actions are based on directing towards self. So this is why I have made these 4 red arrows which are inward directed. You can see the action, 4 outer circles action. And all the arrows are directed inwards, meaning what? All the actions are inwardly directed. That's the energy of sovereignty. Like you focus upon yourself. This is an inward directed energy, the human being with itself, right? You create compassion, love, balance, knowledge, understanding, beauty. You engage with compassion, love for yourself. You regenerate compassion, love, balance, understanding, knowledge, beauty for yourself. Expand for yourself. This is you with you. Okay. Sovereignty concerns with growing within the being and revel in it. What do you mean by revel in it? Just enjoy your own being. Enjoy your own sense of self. You should always be in that happy, joyful state. Sovereignty brings about the claim and proclaim of sovereignty can create this. You have all the freedom, you have all the means and tools necessary provided by the spherical civilization to do this. Sovereignty is the engagement, expansion, realization, creation within inner being. So we are creating within the inner being. This is why it is going inward. Sovereignty is an inward directed energy, being with itself, like we always spoke of. Sovereignty, all of life and earth itself is the basis of new earth. So every being needs to be sovereign like this in the new society. It's going to work. It's definitely going to work. Not conditional freedom as is being touted around in democracies. You can take it away whenever you want, just because you want something else. No hidden agendas. Remember, removing all old myth stories, everything. So it's not a freedom subject to conditional contracts, laws, or legal bindings. Remember when we spoke, embodiment is not a law; it's absolute. So when we start embodying this first thing in the new civilization, we can create a truly wonderful, wonderful world. This is one of the first one. Let's speak of the next one now.